The following podcast may contain adult language and an abundance of salt. So get ready, nerds, because we're talking Farscape, Season 1, Episode 20, The Hidden Memory. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Salty Nerd Podcast. We're talking Farscape, and I'm joined, as always, by my fantastic panel of nerds. Matt Vader's here. What's up, dude?
I'm here. I'm
Inebriated? Is it inebriated?
inebriated.
Yes, it is.
I don't know what I am. I'm kind of like in a weird neutral zone.
Like the card deck.
Are you having
Romulans. The Romulan neutral zone?
Yeah,
It's the wrong franchise. Jude is also here.
Hello.
I did that one on purpose. It was so funny. I saw you grab your cup and I was like, Jude. What's up, Jude? How you doing?
Oh, hello.
Hello. So I got a question I gotta ask before I get to Kadish.
Ask me.
Do you watch these episodes with Kadish?
Yep.
What's that like?
Back to you, Kadish.
Kadish is also here. Welcome, sir.
So there was a very nice comment that someone left on our YouTube reviews of the previous Farscapes, where he said, it's very hard to find intelligent, in-depth analysis of this show anywhere on the internet. I really appreciate what you guys are doing. Keep it up. And so I was like...
That was to all of us.
Yes, it was.
Intelligent. That's a compliment I didn't expect to hear today.
Well, Farscape is such an underserved series. It's got such a huge hardcore fan base for it. And yet, because it's over and there's nothing new on the horizon for it, people have just kind of let it fall by the wayside. And I think that there's a group of fans out there that are appreciative that people like us are revisiting the series and actually doing very in-depth reviews of it.
I was going to say my brother, Keg Crusher, he loves this show.
Really?
Yeah, he calls us Philistines for not liking it. He's just
I thought he was being sarcastic.
No. He really likes this show.
Oh, okay.
So it's I have a close family member who gets it, I guess, but he watched this show when it was originally aired, and for some reason I didn't, and that's why. I'm kind of convinced that you and I aren't really latching onto this show because we're not watching it as it's supposed to be watched. We're watching it episode 1, episode 5, episode 19. We're not getting everything that builds up to episode 19. So we're getting weird takes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally do. And I feel the same way because as I'm watching this, and obviously if you're new here, I live with Kadish and this is his pick. So this is something that he feels really passionately about. And I've never seen it before. Obviously we watch them together. So as I'm watching them with him, on days where he's like, hey, we got to watch Farscape tonight. I'm like, ugh. Fine.
I get it.
But as I'm watching the show, I'm like, this isn't a bad show. There are aspects of it that I'm checked out on. Because the pilot and that fucking weirdo that farts helium, I hate those characters.
I know.
But I feel like that's just because I'm watching it probably, 20 years after it aired, so it hasn't aged that well. The stories are great. The sci-fi, it's good. And I feel like this just came out in a weird time where shows were kind of transitioning, and this got its hardcore fan base of people who were either fine with the puppetry of it, or we're okay, fine, whatever about it. Either you're into it or you're whatever about it. But the people who like me and Alex and Vader, who are that's too fucking weird. Now we're watching it in 2022 and we're this is totally taking me out of it. But when this aired, I'm sure it didn't take you out of it.
Oh yeah, this was groundbreaking when it aired.
Yeah.
And in fact, the last couple episodes, so we reviewed the episode before this, Nerve Part 1. This is the second part of the 2-parter, and then we're going to be doing one more Farscape episode this month, which is the season finale. And I think with Nerve, the show really kind of turned a corner and started getting into like the hardcore serialized storylines, because once season 2 gets going, like the story gets really like engaging.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people who are fans of the show will tell you like the show doesn't really get started until season 2.
Yeah.
Now that Scorpius has been introduced, and now that the wormhole technology has kind of come into the forefront, and Chiana is a big part of the story going forward.
Yeah, I feel like this whole month is probably set up, and I don't know if you're going to come back to this when it's your pick again with another season, but I feel like this whole season is a setup to the show finding its feet.
I think that's fair. But like the final 3 episodes that we're watching, Nerve, Hidden Memory, and the finale, really kind of like...
I got upset for a second when you said 3 more episodes that we're watching. I'm like, we have to watch 3 more?
the current 3 that we're watching. Like those are a big part of the show kind of going forward and setting the stage for what's to come, like Moya having her child,
Yeah.
and Crace kind of going off the Peacekeeper reservation and all this other stuff. There's a lot of stuff that's set up in these episodes that we're watching right now that kind of leads into bigger story arcs later down the road.
Yeah, I will say that as I was watching this episode, I was in like the last one, Nerve. It ended on like a cliffhanger, which is the continuation, which is this show that we watched today that we're going to talk about. Like I was invested in the story, but every single time I saw a Jim Henson puppet, I was just like, fucking puppets.
All right, guys, before we dive into this episode, we break it down scene by scene, have a lot of fun talking about it. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. So stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, if you guys want to support what we do here and you want to rock some awesome merch, head over to saltynerdstore.com and you can grab some cool shirts like this one, Peace, Love, Dinosaurs, if you're a fan of dinosaurs like me, Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, and all that stuff. Or you can get the official Salty Nerd Podcast logo that is also available on the store that Matt Vader's wearing right there. Boom, check that out. That's a dope-ass shirt. Go to saltynerdstore.com.
This is extra fat.
You can also get it in a lady's tee.
Yeah, it comes in all different sizes.
This is curtain size. Drapes.
But type in salty in the checkout counter, it gets 10% off your purchase, and we'd really appreciate it. It goes a long way in supporting us. Selling merch is a way that we help build our podcast and be able to afford new stuff, new equipment, and whatnot, and help us make awesome content for you. So head over there, grab some stuff. All right, Mr. Kadish, take it away. Episode 20.
All right, Farscape, Season 1, Episode 20, The Hidden Memory, a.k.a. Nerve, Part 2. Moya is still orbiting the planet with the Gammak base where Crichton is being held prisoner, and she cannot starburst or even move since she has just entered full labor. However, Moya is very frightened, and Pilot reports that it is because she has discovered that her baby is not a normal Leviathan.
I had such a hard time with this.
Bum, bum,
I'm like, so the ship's pregnant. So like a biological ship is interesting.
How does the ship get pregnant?
Well, I think they talk about it in this episode. Somebody did something to her, right?
Yeah, so she was a prisoner of the Peacekeepers, and they were trying to impregnate all of the Leviathan ships.
Is there like
She's the only one that was successful, and then she escaped.
So,
is there like a glory hole in the bathroom or something?
No, the Leviathans are typically female, and they have this contraceptive barrier around like their reproductive sac or like whatever it's called. And in a previous episode, they had to break that barrier. And when the barrier was broken, this Peacekeeper DNA was released into Moya that impregnated her. And basically, Peacekeepers have been trying to breed warships out of the Leviathans for like generations, and they've never been able to have one work. And so the idea that Moya has a not a normal Leviathan baby is kind of a big deal, because like as we're going to see later on in this episode and the next one that we watch, Moya's child is a boy, and it is filled with weapons, and that's a big deal.
So the peacekeepers like raped the ship.
I think
That's
so.
pretty dark.
Yeah.
This is a dark show.
It's a fucked up show.
This show gets very dark. Yeah. Not gonna lie.
But it's like it's in
And
this
Kate
like
is just like, you guys love it.
yeah. But it's like it's in this like weird haze of sci-fi where you're like you can't take it quite as seriously as you should.
Because there's Jim Henson puppets in it.
It's like they did what to the ship?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll fuck the shit out of that ship.
They freaking impregnated.
She gonna have my baby whether she likes it or not.
So they freaking what's that show called that all the chicks are freaking out about? Handmaid's Tale, right?
Handmaid's Tale.
Handmaid's Tale?
enough.
Yeah. Handmaiden's Tale. Something like that.
Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah. That's kind of like what's happening to this poor ship, right?
May the Lord open.
I don't know. I've never seen the show. I'm not going to watch it. Not going to do it.
You should say under his eye to me.
No, that sounds weird. Anyway, continue, Katie. Go ahead.
All right. Meanwhile, Aeryn is awake and slowly recovering from her injury and wants to see Crichton, but the crew reveals that he's being tortured on the Gammak base in the Aurora chair. Aeryn says that she wants to go down and rescue him against the rest of the crew's advice. Dargo and Zahn refuse to let her go alone and accompany her in the Prowler using the blind path hidden to the base's sensors that is still in place from Chiana's return. On the base, Crace and Scorpius continue to rip memories from Crichton's mind using the chair. They know that he is holding something back, and Crace is determined to find out what it is. Although they think he is withholding information regarding wormholes, Crichton is actually trying to keep Gilina safe, since it would mean her death if the Peacekeepers found out she'd been the one helping him.
So we got the first look at the dominatrix redheaded chick.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Right?
With them bangs, them banging bangs.
Well, we saw her in the previous episode.
Yeah, but we didn't see the full, like, where she's in like full screen.
She's got a fucking ensemble now. She's got tails.
I love her.
Some of that shit is
Bro,
see-through.
those freaking buckles on her thighs.
I'm going to say, yes, spank
They
me,
go
please.
all the way up.
Put me in this X chair.
Put me in the chair.
Yeah.
Turn it up to high. Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
$100, Home Depot.
Flugenslagen.
Look at her coming.
It's just funny. Like I can't look at this dude and take him seriously. I know he's like the main bad guy.
Are you talking about
Scorpio,
Scorpius.
Gimp man.
Gimp Vader?
Yes, Gimp Vader.
Gimp Vader.
Yeah, I can't take him.
I'm trying to give this show like a little bit of credit for being original and stuff, but the dude looks like something in a dirty porn.
His
does.
his chin strap looks like two balls.
Yes. That also.
Tiny balls.
There's two things that I just can't deal with on this show. Surprisingly, neither one of them are Muppets because I just don't like them anyway. But one of them is Scorpius, Gimp Vader. I think he looks ludicrous. He looks absolutely ridiculous. And the other one is tattooed bald sack chin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
That guy. What's his name? I can't even think of
Dargo.
it. Yeah, I hate him. Can't stand him. He's just like, I don't even know what his purpose is other than to be like,
He's Worf.
I guess. And every time he talks, I feel like there's somebody over voice dubbing him. And it's awful.
It might be.
It's just awful.
Because I can't imagine having to talk through all that stuff.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's all practical.
Is it all practical? 'Cause
It's just
when I hear him talk, I immediately think of that bit from Guardians of the Galaxy when Thor comes onto the ship and Chris Pratt's talking to him and he's like, "Are you making your voice deeper?" No, I am not making that. That's what I hear when this dude talks.
and his voice changes from scene to scene.
Yeah.
It's very strange. It's very off-putting. and I feel like
Oh my God,
I
they
know
do look like balls.
I know they were trying to go for like a real alien look with this dude, but I feel like they kind of went too far. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's just for not being a Muppet, they went too far with this dude, and it just doesn't work for me. And
I think if they would have ditched the mask on Scorpio, what is it?
Scorpius.
Sorry, Scorpius.
yeah,
I think he would have been more intimidating without the mask.
without the
Because like
without the mankind mask on.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah.
because they mentioned it in the last episode that he looks like Nosferatu,
Yeah.
the old vampire movie from like the 20s. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, that's a creepy ass movie, and he would look just like that if he didn't have the mask on. I think they should have left with it. Anyway, I don't know. I'm not trying to be down on the show.
No.
but I'm watching it and I'm like
It's like I said at the beginning of the show. There's this show. I know it gets good. I know it gets to a place where people like me will probably watch it. I'm doing it a disservice by not watching the 15 episodes prior to this one
Yeah.
because I know it's better. I know this
I think
episode
that's
is better.
probably what makes the big difference.
Yeah, and it is what it is, man. I trust my brother. I trust Kadish. I know this show goes to places where it gets good. I'm not seeing it with what I've been exposed to of it. That's all. But some of the characters are a little weird. There's a lot of weird in this show. The ship getting pregnant is next level weird. It's cool sci-fi. Don't get me wrong, but it's fucking weird. It's like, could you imagine Star Trek if an episode was oh, the Enterprise is pregnant. We have to get everybody to a safe spot so the Enterprise can give birth. You know, it's just like
It's weird,
like,
man.
It's weird. You know, it's very strange.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's cool. It's science fiction. There's room for that in the world of science fiction. That's why it's called science fiction.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. Star Trek touched on stuff like this. There's an episode called Tin Man where the ship is an organic life form that works in a symbiotic relationship with its crew that is long dead and non-existent in the episode. But, you know, it's just an interesting thing. So
Yep.
I get it.
Continue on, Mr. Kadish.
Later, Crichton is once again allowed to rest, and in the cell, he seems to think that Stark was sent by Scorpius to spy on him. Stark denies the accusation and reveals that he is not really crazy. He just acts that way so that Scorpius won't bother him so much. He has made a magnetic crypt encoder from metals he's collected during the 2 cycles that he's been held captive, which will unlock the cell door once he finds the right code. However, there are so many permutations that it will take him a very long time to do so. Gilina then gets in touch with Crichton through the security monitor, asks her to find some way to get Scorpius and Crais off his back for a while so that he can recover from his time in the chair.
I'm watching this show, and they strap him into this like memory extracting chair, which is the sex chair.
The chair.
The chair.
Not to 50.
Yeah. I feel bad for the actor because he's making some weird faces. And
It was,
I'm just
sticking his
I'm-
tongue out and stuff,
yeah, I'm watching it and he's like rolling his eyes back in the back of his head and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I get it, like extracting memories and stuff. And this is probably one of the first times sci-fi has done something like this. Like this, we're not talking about something that like, you know, the Vulcan mind meld and shit like that. It's a little bit more subtle. It's a little bit, you know, different. They went full tilt. And it kind of took me out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I can't, I'm like, this dude's faces are just like
Okay,
distracting
Browder,
me.
act like you're in pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm like, just
Spin a little bit.
There's
There's
like
like drool.
tone it down just a little bit.
It reminded me of Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Was he overacting a little bit? Like bigger expressions?
Like that's not one of my favorite movies because there's cartoons in it. But like how everyone is like acting across from a cartoon who isn't there and doesn't exist. So they're just like,
Yeah.
and it's just like so over the top
Yeah.
and kind of embarrassing, which is what I feel right now, having done that for you.
There's going to be a gif of that for sure.
Oh, good.
Oh God, I forget that. We got those two knuckleheads that take our faces every
On
time we make a
everything.
goofy
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
I enact it, so you don't have to.
Yeah. But I will say, I'll give this some praise. The way they edited the scenes where like you're seeing the memories that he's having flash in his mind and like way it's like smash cutted together. I liked how they did that. The way that they kind of like had these different flashes of different memories kind of like bombard you on the screen. I felt like that kind of showed you what he was going through a little bit better. So
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. In one aspect, I'm like, okay, I'm glad that I could see what they're seeing, but on the other side, I'm like, oh, it's up on that monitor. That looks terrible.
The sex chair is goofy.
Well, honestly, like the technology never ages well, and I feel like the less you show, the better.
That's fair. Go ahead. Continue on.
Neem, Scorpius's hot redheaded female assistant, is getting the techs to increase the power of the chair as per Scorpius's orders. Gilina assists in the repair and makes extra modifications while unseen for the distraction she promised Crichton. She contacts John in his cell and tells him that he must remember their kiss on the Zelbinian, when suddenly Scorpius and Crais return for John. Scorpius says he wants to know what John is hiding, but Crichton continues to say he's hiding nothing. Scorpius puts him back in the chair. Crichton remembers the kiss with Gilina during the torture, when suddenly Crais appears in the memory while Gilina is replaced with an unfamiliar blonde woman. Upon continued viewing of the memory, Crais reveals that he wishes to thank John for giving him the wormhole technology, since with it he has the power to rise to where he should be in the Peacekeeper ranks. Scorpius then demands an explanation from Crais, who is speechless and obviously denies that the memory is false. Scorpius reports that he knows you can't make things up for the chair. John asks Crais if the game is up and plays along with the memory, revealing to Scorpius that Crais found out about wormholes back when John first arrived in the galaxy and exchanged the information for John's life so Crais could rise through the ranks. Crais persists that it is a lie, but Scorpius says there's only one way to find out the truth, and that is to put Crais in the chair. Crais doesn't believe he'll do it, but Scorpius uses his unconditional authority on the base to persuade Crais' guards to seize him.
I need some clarification on this because I did think this was really clever.
Yeah, I did too.
It was a very clever way of getting
Crais.
Crais.
It doesn't matter.
Whatever. It was a really clever way to get the bad guy in a difficult situation and save it
with the bigger bad guy.
with the bigger bad guy.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know if I was distracted or something was going on, but I missed the point where like how did that happen? How did they fed him a fake memory?
Gilina snuck inside when they were like working on the chair, and she was like, "Hey man, you need some help?" And he was like, "Oh cool, you're here and you're like the tech guy, so why don't you take over?" So she like took one of the screwy things out, popped it in her titties, and like had a new one loaded with the false memory, and she put it into the chair.
Okay, so she saved him.
So that's why she was like, "Remember the kiss.
Right.
Yeah.
Trust me."
Because that was the memory that he was trying to hide to protect her. And so like once he's able to give that up, he doesn't have to like suffer the chair anymore. And also once he allowed that memory to be accessed, that subroutine for the chair brought up the fake memory that Gilina had implanted in there and framed Crais for stealing wormhole technology.
And, like treason and all of that stuff.
I'm sorry,
Murder.
I'm just thinking about like if this scenario was real and you're put in this freaking chair and they're kind of like sucking the memories out of you. If you're trying to hide a different memory from them, like I immediately would just think of the dirtiest things. Like if you look at somebody and say, "Don't think of elephants," what's the first thing you do?
You think of
elephants. I would just be like the raunchiest, weirdest shit on that screen.
You're going to be fucking elephant.
I mean, yes, it's like fucking weird ass elephants and all kinds of crazy stuff. And they'd be like, "The fuck's wrong with this guy's brain?" And I'm
those elephants.
I'm pretty sure that's what the crazy man in the Iron Mask
Elephants
did.
never forget, man.
But I was just like, if you're gonna try and fake these people out, like I'd just be throwing everything at them until they were like, "We can't do this anymore. This is weird."
Well,
Are you saying you could master the sex chair?
Yes, I think I could.
You think you could?
I think I know the
Are
secret.
you mentally astute enough to where
I
you
am mentally deranged
the
enough to think of the raunchiest shit, and then they would just be like, "We have to stop probing this guy's brain."
Could you beat a lie detector test, you think?
Yeah, you just have to sit on attack.
Oh, okay. Good
Or be a
good to know.
psychopath.
Well, see what they do. Never mind. I know how lie detectors work.
well,
This is Patreon content. They ain't gonna tell no one.
one of the interesting things about this scene is that this is the scene where Crais' like character arc starts to go in a completely different direction. And we'll see in the season finale the consequences of him being taken by Scorpius and put in the chair.
Okay.
And it's this show is really good at like setting stuff up in certain episodes that ends up paying off in a big way later on in other episodes.
Cool. Any other comments on this?
Not at this point. I would like to move forward.
Okay. All right. V?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. Katie, do you have anything you want to add to this part before we take our break? Nope. All right. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. If you guys want full access to this episode where we break down the rest of the show, head over to saltynerdclub.com and become a club member. It's only $5 a month. You guys get access to episodes like this and so much more. We've done a ton of different sci-fi TV shows, and we've broken them down just like we do here. So if you like what we're doing, join up. $5 a month. It's a great value. Really appreciate the support.
We need 2 to get 50 patrons.
2 to get 50?
Aww.
That's
2 for
right.
50.
That's right. Our goal is to get to 100, so we're almost halfway there. If you guys can help us out, that'd be great. Share this with your nerd friends. If you have friends that are also fans of Farscape or Doctor Who or Star Trek, the original series or stuff like that, we reviewed all those shows as well.
Yeah, and if you have more than $5 a month, we also have a $30 tier.
Do if you're a badass, you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
guys,
the $30 guys get all the good content.
they do get all the really stuff that we can't put out there
Pictures of my butt.
for $30. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining us.
Pictures
Quite a
of
discount.
You get, yeah.
Pictures of Jude's butt. It's well worth it. So yeah.
Anyway,
You get access to my OnlyFans, the ASMR channel that I just created.
yeah. Jerk it to Jude.
Jerk it to Jude.
What's the Pornhub sound?
Your first member.
Jerk it to Jude. Go to OnlyFans. Type in jerk it to Jude.
Would that be weird if I was your first member?
Not at all. Listen, I'll take anyone's money.
I come to your house every day. What's next?
Don't come over.
Vader
Don't
doesn't
come
have
over.
any money.
All right, V, where can they find you on the socials? Not creeping on people.
That's kind of weird. I would never do that.
We are so weird.
I know we're a weird show. I don't know why people even listen to us. Getting stuff off my hat. I'm sorry, I'm blanking.
Social media.
Social media. Oh God, don't.
It's the sex puppet.
It's the Red Rocket. At Mavator74. You can find me there on all the social media things. There you go.
Okay, Jude. I'm afraid of what Jude's going to say. Jude, go ahead.
Hello. You can find me at I am Jude Juju. There's nothing weird there on the socials.
Yet.
Someday.
Kadish, how about you, bud?
You can find me at Matthew Kadish, Kadish on Twitter and Truth Social. And kadishbooks.com takes you to my Amazon page.
All right, folks. Thanks for watching the video. Club members, follow us for more weirdness.